Hi guys, I have finally created another game. In my last video, I talked about the fact that I was struggling, and that was over 6 weeks ago, and I haven't managed to do any of what I wanted to do. So in that video, I talked about some game ideas that I had, and I just couldn't do any of them. So I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. I'm just going to show you what I've done, and then I've got a few other videos coming out. So first of all, let me show you what I have done. So there's a game jam here, Holistic 3D Game Jam. I think it was running for about 10 days, but I only started it a week ago. Unfortunately, this has just been a bit of a flop, really. It's only got 9 entries, but they are offering a course for everyone, which is one of the reasons why I thought I'd go for it. So it is run by Holistic 3D is by Penny DeBale. She is an Australian course creator, so she's created all of these, and she's really heavily into artificial intelligence, procedural generation, mathematics, all that kind of stuff. And she's given away any one of these courses for any submission on the game, and she's also at the moment there's an offer on as well, which is pretty cool. So my game is called Endless Coil, and you might see by the snake, if I just come down here, it's basically a game of Snake. So yeah, I have gone back to basics and gone back to just doing something really simple. So I'm going to do 2 other videos. So as I've been doing this game, I have been recording a devlog, but whereas before on all of my devlogs that I did before, I was always trying to make it kind of like fun for the viewer, kind of entertaining. And I realized that that's, first of all, it's kind of like a bit, it's just kind of a load of crap, really, because it's just not really me. And secondly, it wasn't useful for me. So one of the things that I did when I was trying to get back into things was I started to re-watch my Astroworlds devlogs, because I loaded up Astroworlds, which is the last that's the last game that I created. So Astroworlds is the one that I created for the last game jam, actually. This was the last game that I created before I stopped 3 months ago. I put a lot of work into this. I loaded this up in Unity, and I just did not have a clue what was going on. I couldn't remember any of it. Bear in mind, I'd only been working on games for a few weeks, and I'd only done 2 games in Unity. My first 2 were using monogames, so I'd just forgotten everything. And then I watched through my devlogs, and they were pretty much useless, because most of the stuff that I was talking about was trying to, like, oh my god, my cat's destroying the place, was trying to kind of like put something interesting on YouTube. So I'm not doing any of that anymore. What I've done is I have basically recorded, so on Unity, this is like all of my stuff, and I have been going through step by step by step, showing this is the code I've done, this is what I've done in Unity, and then I'm showing every single time I'm like refactoring something. There was this one particular thing that I did on the UI, and I must have refactored that thing about 4 times. I spent hours on it. I actually did that today on the last day of the game jam, which is probably not a best use of my time. But I've put all of that on there because I want to know that if I want to remember how I've done something, I can watch that video back and learn it, and I can see my thought processes as I was doing it, and that's what I want. And so what I'm going to do is, I'm not doing these little 10-minute devlogs. I'm just basically going to put the whole lot together into one video. I've got an hour of footage. I will cut it down a little bit because I'm waffling and flickering around all over the place, so I can probably get that down to about 40 minutes or so. I'll just put that out as a single video, and it's just going to be like the making of this Endless Coil game. And it'll just be like a start to finish, what I've done from the beginning to the end. So then that might be useful to anyone else who's interested in building a game of Snake. And then the other thing I'm going to do is, it's it's taken me a really long time to figure out what the bloody hell happened over the last 3 months. You know, that just looking on GitHub. This is my GitHub. My last submission was on May the 26th, and that was the day that the Astroworlds Game Jam ended. And then I started again. So I've actually got 2 here. I'm going to create a second Snake game actually, but I'll talk about that in another video. I didn't create this Endless Coil until August the 15th. We're now the 22nd, so yeah, it's a week ago. So it's taken me almost 3 months before I actually got started, and I've had to really kind of think what the hell happened. So there's actually a few things which I think I've realized was going on, and I think it'll be useful to talk about that in some other videos. So yes, I'm going to put out a couple of videos kind of going over what I think happened basically. So yeah, I will put a link to Endless Coil in the description. As always, it's just go play it on itch and let me know what you think. This particular game, it's one where I would like it if you can play it for 5 minutes, because there's kind of something at the end of the game. And so that's why I'm kind of putting this video out before I put the devlog, because the devlog basically shows the whole thing and kind of like gives away all the ending and everything. So yeah, if you want to go play it, it'll only take you 5 minutes to play. And yeah, see what you think. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.